Chapter 1, 120, 7th Year, Thunder. Neither Remus nor Peter, who had also been in the carriage, said anything to Sirius about Mary's intel. Peter probably kept quiet because he wasn't sure how valuable the information was. Remus kept quiet because he was a coward, and if there had to be bad news, he'd prefer that James delivered it. And sure enough, James appeared to meet them all on the train platform with a very red-looking eye and a rumpled school uniform.
"What happened to you?"
Sirius yawned, oblivious.
"Tell you later,"
James murmured before jogging over to join Lily in herding the first years in the right direction. It was still raining lightly and growing dark already. Remus was very glad not to be crossing the lake. Still, it was bittersweet, climbing into the horseless carriages one last time with Sirius, Mary and Marlene. Peter had decided to follow the honey and get in with Dorcas and her friends. As they pulled into the castle courtyard, Remus looked up at the towering stone and wondered if this would be his final memory of arriving at Hogwarts. Perhaps they would all be back for a reunion party in 10 years. That was a pleasant thought, though 1987 seemed completely impossible right then. Remus tried to pay close attention to the sorting ceremony, the nervous line of tiny first years, the battered old hat, McGonagall's stern but caring countenance. He tried to imprint every moment in his memory. But it wasn't easy. There were so many distractions. First, there was James's eye, which he still had not explained. Then there was Regulus, who was conspicuously absent. Snape, glowering as always, his eyes never leaving the back of Lily Evans' head. Christopher, who kept trying to catch Remus's eye, and Sirius, who was completely unaware of everything else, and simply thrilled to be back at Hogwarts, his true home. Remus was trying to enjoy Sirius's good mood without looking too much like he was staring. It was a real art. Just as Dumbledore announced that dinner was served, the doors at the back of the hall flew open. All heads turned to see, except for Remus, who only needed to see the smile die on Sirius's face to know who it was. Regulus did not hurry to his seat, as Remus probably would have, embarrassed to draw attention. No, Regulus was a black through and through, and walked with his usual regal bearing, slowly and with purpose, head held high. There was no evidence that James had done any damage, but Remus thought that Reg was looking even paler than usual, and dark around the eyes, as if he had lost a lot of sleep lately. The 6th year Slytherins made a big show of making room for him, as if he was a guest of honour rather than their schoolmate. Even Snape's attention was momentarily diverted, as he leaned across to shake Regulus's hand. All of this took up only a few moments, but it left an indelible mark on the Gryffindor 7th years, as they all eyed Sirius warily.
"Mate,"
James said very quietly,
"I need to tell you something, later. In private."
He glanced up at Remus and Peter as he said this, so that they knew they were included in this. Sirius just nodded and kept his head down for the rest of the meal, only picking at his food. Remus's heart ached, but there was nothing he could do. His sense of separation was inadvertently exacerbated by Lily and James, who kept squeezing each other's hands under the table. Remus didn't know when he and Sirius would next have the chance to be alone. After dinner, it was an almost unbearable wait for Lily and James to finish up with their new duties as head boy and girl. Remus was nodding in his armchair, failing to focus on his care of magical creatures and EWT text, eyelids growing heavier and heavier.
"Psst, Mooney."
James woke him, finally, with a gentle shake.
"Come on, we're all heading up."
Remus blinked, staring about himself in surprise. The common room was almost empty. Upstairs in their bedroom, all of their trunks had arrived, their beds were made and pyjamas laid out. Rain was still battering the window panes, and Remus could smell a storm on its way, electricity and pressure making the air feel thick and too close. Sirius was pacing, and though a window was open, the room stank of cigarettes from his chain smoking. He had showered at some point, and his hair was still damp at the ends, dripping onto the maroon t-shirt he wore to bed. Peter was just coming out of the bathroom, already in his pyjamas and smelling faintly of toothpaste.
"You didn't wake me up,"
Remus said neutrally to Sirius. Sirius shrugged, carelessly, sitting down on his bed.
"You looked comfortable. Thought you could probably do with the rest."
He turned to James.
"Well?"
"It's about Regulus,"
James said, not beating about the bush.
"He give you that?"
Sirius nodded at James's now very prominent black eye.
"Yeah."
James nodded. He looked angry, a strange emotion on James.
"Yeah, we had a few words in the prefect's carriage."
"Words?"
"Yeah."
James's jaw was tight and the back of his neck was flushed red. He flexed his fists.
"Seems like Regulus and some of his mates have a problem with Evans being head girl."
"Oh no,"
Peter said, realizing what had happened.
James, he didn't...
He was all talk.
James said.
But you weren't.
Sirius said. He was still sitting on the bed, his shoulders slumped.
Prongs.
Remus sighed impatiently.
You didn't attack him first. You know that's exactly what that lot want from our side. You should just have ignored him.
He didn't make it very easy.
James snapped, still wound up.
Anyway, don't bother. I've had all this from Lily.
Remus wondered what she had to say. He couldn't imagine that she would have taken very kindly to James playing the White Knight. But then, Mary had said she'd been very shaken.
I didn't hurt him, anyway.
James carried on. He had begun to pace the room, now that Sirius had stopped.
Just wanted to shut him up. I was going to use Silencio, or maybe scourgify his mouth, you know. But the little weasel dodged it and tried to get me back, so I used jelly legs. That's when Mulciber swung for me, and Evans petrified all three of us, just for a few minutes. Still, I got Regulus, so he had to go to the hospital wing, and it all got written up.
Are you in trouble?
Peter asked, chewing his fingernails.
Nah.
James waved a hand.
Loads of witnesses said Reg was asking for it, and in the end, it was Gryffindor versus Slytherin, so McGonagall and Slughorn agreed to give us another chance to be civil.
He pulled a face at this.
But Reg is okay?
Sirius asked quietly.
Yeah, fine.
James nodded. He stopped moving and scratched his head awkwardly.
There's something else, though.
Sirius looked up. His arms were folded across his body, but not in a defiant way, more as if to protect himself.
What?
Regulus. When Lily petrified him, he fell, and we had to lift him up onto a seat. He'd rolled his sleeves up to duel, and when I was moving him, I saw, on his arm.
Prongs?
Sirius was staring at his friend with such a burning in his eyes that his pupils were twin flames. He looked desperate, as if willing James not to tell him.
He's got the mark.
Peter made a noise and sat down hard on his bed. Remus bit his lip and stayed still, because he couldn't think of anything else to do that wouldn't look suspicious. Sirius swallowed. Remus could see his Adam's apple bob, then look down, then back up at James. Now he looked defiant. He gave another shrug, which was probably meant to be casual, except he was still hugging himself, so it just looked petulant. He tossed his hair.
Well then.
He said,
Suppose we know how my family spent their summer then. Fine. That's fine. He's picked his side. I've picked mine.
He nodded, as if agreeing with himself.
Fine.
He repeated.
Padfoot.
James reached out to his friend.
I'm angry with Reg, okay? I'm not. It's nothing to do with you. Everybody knows you're not one of them.
I know,
Sirius said, almost violently.
It's fine.
He squeezed his hands tighter over his arms, and Remus felt dizzy with the urge to run over and wrap his own arms around him.
Is Evans okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
James said,
I mean, I think she was hurt, but, well, she's tougher than me. Cooler under pressure.
Want me to have a word? With Reg, I mean.
I'd leave it, mate.
James shook his head.
McGonagall and Slughorn know everything now. You'll only make it worse.
Everything?
Sirius looked up again. The rims of his eyes were red, but that might just be tiredness.
Not everything.
James admitted.
Not about the mark. I wanted to leave that up to you.
Okay.
Sirius looked down again. They were all quiet for a long time, before James tried again, heroically.
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Sirius replied.
I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, good idea.
James said, running his fingers through his hair. He was doing the usual James thing, taking charge, assessing and managing the Sirius thing, but the wind was obviously out of his sails. He wasn't sure what to do. Remus wished he could tell him, telepathically. He knew exactly the right thing, but it was a bad idea. No need to add his own nonsense to the pile. He would simply have to wait. They all got ready for bed quietly, unpacking a few things, reclaiming their space on the bathroom counter, settling back into the comfortable and familiar room in which they had shared an entire childhood. Remus took a quick shower to wash London off him, then brushed his teeth and dressed for bed. When he opened the door again, he found the curtains drawn around all of the beds except his own. Light snoring was coming from Peter's, but James and Sirius were still awake. If Remus concentrated very hard, he could even sense how they were lying, James on his back, tossing his lucky golden snitch up and down Sirius, curled up on his side. And how relaxed they were, not at all. That felt like an invasion of privacy, though, so he just tried to creep as quietly as possible to his own four-poster, looking forward to a proper rest at last. No such luck.
Remus.
Sirius's head popped out from behind his curtains. Remus turned his head.
Sirius.
He whispered back. Sirius pulled back the curtain and, after a quick glance at the other beds, Remus climbed in as neatly as he could. Inside it was pitch dark, but he could still see Sirius's warm outline kneeling before him. He twitched his wand.
Sonoro quiesces.
James isn't asleep yet.
Remus cautioned.
Are you sure you want me?
Yes.
Sirius replied.
Please stay, just for a little bit.
He reached out and grasped Remus's hand, squeezing it. Remus relented and finally put his arms around Sirius, pulling him closer. It was an immense relief.
I'm so sorry about Reggie.
He's not even of age.
I know.
They pulled apart and sat cross-legged, facing each other. Sirius's head was bowed, his hair covering his face. He probably remembered how well Remus could see in the dark.
I can't believe. I know it's stupid. I should have known all along that he would, but I don't know. I suppose I just hoped he'd...
It's not stupid,
Remus said.
And we don't know he joined willingly. Remember what they did to you when they wanted you to join him.
Sirius flinched, but didn't move away.
Yeah,
he murmured.
I doubt it got that far with Reg. He always wanted it more than me. The whole circus, our parents' approval, the respect you get from purebloods just for being a black. We like to be popular and powerful. It only makes sense. That's why we're all Slytherins.
You're not a Slytherin.
No, I'm not.
Sirius exhaled shakily.
I used to think...
What?
I used to think. Maybe I didn't get sorted into Gryffindor because I'm brave or chivalrous, like James is. Maybe I just wasn't welcome in Slytherin because I haven't got the ambition.
Ambition?
Remus stared at him.
Sirius, what Reg is doing, it's not anything to be proud of. It's cowardly. He's doing exactly what he's been raised to do without thinking, without questioning.
Yeah, but...
And you're the bravest person I know.
Mooney.
Really?
Remus said this with such seriousness that it stopped Sirius in his tracks.
Thanks.
Sirius smiled. He reached forward again, plucking the fabric of Remus's pajama bottoms and sniffing slightly.
I thought that keeping quiet about you and me would be the hardest thing about this year.
He said.
Forgot about the stupid war.
Yeah.
Remus wasn't sure how to respond. He wished he could forget about the war too. Sirius looked up at him, sensing his unease.
It's still hard,
he said,
keeping this quiet.
His fingers kept playing with the cuffs of Remus's trouser leg.
I feel like we're so far apart when the others are around.
We're pretty close right now,
Remus offered, hoping to cheer him up a bit. It worked. Sirius took this as an invitation and finally met his eye, grinning. He leaned over, and as their lips met, Remus forced himself to forget about everything else, just for a little bit. Afterwards, they found themselves crawling under the covers for warmth, sleepy and affectionate.
I shouldn't get too comfortable.
Remus yawned.
I'd better go back to my bed.
Not yet,
Sirius whispered shyly.
Okay.
His eyes were very heavy, though. He was in real danger of falling asleep.
Remus. Tell me a secret.
Sirius's fingers curled around his.
I don't know.
Go on. Something good. Happy.
Perhaps now was the right time. He didn't like to bring up the Black family, but after all, it wasn't about Regulus or Walpurga.
I could tell you about something I did in my second year if you won't get angry.
What did you do?
Promise you won't get angry. It's a bit... Well, remember I was 13, and I only wanted to help.
Merlin, Mooney, just tell me.
Narcissa,
he said.
I gave her the idea to use the unbreakable vow. You know, to get out of the engagement.
The engagement, not your engagement, because that was still too painful. Sirius was quiet. Remus bit his lip, and turned his head on the pillow to get a look at Sirius's face.
I'm really sorry for interfering, but you gave me that reading spell, and you were so... I just thought you were so amazing and clever and brave. I wanted to do something to help you for once.
But you didn't want to tell me about it?
No, I didn't. At first I didn't want to boast about it. Then so much time had passed, it just didn't seem worth it.
Mooney.
Sirius exhaled again, exasperated this time.
Honestly, you and your secrets...
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Sirius chuckled, yawning again and shifting slightly to get comfortable.
I suppose I did ask. And that's bloody impressive. I couldn't have come up with that at 13.
Well, you didn't.
Remus smirked.
So you actually went and talked to my cousin?
Yeah, she was terrifying.
Still is.
Sirius snorted.
They all bloody are.
Don't think about it now.
Remus chastised him.
Or I'll have to cheer you up again, and I can't think of any more secrets tonight.
There are other ways,
Sirius replied, slyly. Remus laughed, hoping the silencing spell was still secure.
Harlot,